Oh, I did not think this one through. Ugh, it's gross in here. What's with all this slime? Now that I'm in the mouth of the beast, how am I going to take him down? Ooh. TNT? Arrows? I have an idea. What's happening? Wait. No.
You think you can defeat me from the inside? I've had enough of you. Face the wrath of the slime.
Oh, not this again. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight all these slimes. I've killed all your slimes, Kraken. Your time is up.
No.
Man, these explosive arrows are really fun. I have to get some more of these. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Plus City Project. My name is Soybean, and the Classic Plus City Project is a series where I am building a city within the Classic Plus mod, and occasionally going over some of the features as well. Speaking of features, Classic Plus has finally reached stable release, which means there will be no more content-related updates for this mod from here on out, and support for the mod will end on December 27th of this year. So there's a lot that I want to discuss when it comes to that. And we're going to be continuing work on the Lake Inferior National Park today as well. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. In the last episode, I stated that Classic Plus would be receiving its last major content update, 1.9. Well, 1.9 is here, and has slowly transitioned into Classic Plus stable. A lot has changed with these newer versions, so I want to talk about some cool stuff that's changed. The Wasteland, Island, and Hills world types were improved drastically. These world types were originally direct ports of specific world generators from old classic versions, but they were given a much-needed upgrade with trees, flowers, and other decorations. A new world type, Forest, was also added. 2 new world sizes were added as well, Tiny and Tall. Tiny worlds are exactly what you think. They are, well, tiny. They are 64 by 64 blocks, and they're just some cute little worlds, aren't they? Tall worlds are the same dimensions of normal size worlds, 256 by 256, except they have the added benefit of a 256 build height limit, which can't be achieved in any other world size. Arcade mode was added as a new game mode in the stable releases. Arcade mode is a lot like survival mode, except mobs spawn in waves and you can't mine blocks at the start of the game. You have to use the environment around you, and strategically use your power-ups to succeed in this game mode. Classic Plus was given new options to play around with, such as GUI scaling, flight speed, and a new UI theme. Overall, the whole UI was massively improved. Method has stated that the new UI is his favorite part of this mod. Among these options is a brand new sound engine. This allows for multiple sound level control, and you can also choose to switch between alpha or classic style sound. Classic Plus stable brings a fair amount of new blocks to play around with. Some of the cool new ones are fences that block mobs and players, ropes that you can climb, candles that can light up a small area around them, and doors, which are a really innovative addition to Classic Plus. There is so much more that I can't wait to play around with in the future. Perhaps the best feature is that I can finally scroll in the creative inventory, and that is one of the changes to the inventory, like the survival mode inventory, now has actual slots. To cover everything from 1.9 to the current stable release would take me ages. If you want to explore the finished version of this mod, I suggest you go watch Method's Classic Plus stable trailer video. In that video, you will find a link to the Legacy Plus Discord server in the description. From there, you can learn all about Classic Plus and play the new mod that's in development now, InDev Plus. Version 0.1 was just released, and now version 0.2 is on its way. So, I know what you're thinking. With all these new blocks, am I gonna go through all these older builds and update them? Well, I really want to, especially using the candles to add ambience to certain areas. However, you have to remember, I started this series in version 1.5 of Classic Plus. I've used the same block palette all the way up to version 1.8, so it would be very historic to keep these builds the way they are. Here we go. Much better. Oh. Hello. As you can see, I am putting the Kraken back together. I know what you're thinking. I defeated the Kraken. Well, I did. But to be honest, I really enjoy building this Kraken. This is probably one of my favorite builds of the entire city thus far. I'm really happy with it. As you can see, I've done a little bit of work on the park behind me here as well, and we'll get to that in a moment. But for now, actually, what I want to work on is on that little spot behind me there. You can see it right on the top of my head. Actually, if I zoom in, I wonder if this works. Ignore my giant face. But if I zoom in, right on the top of my head, there's a little plot right there. I want to build something over there, so let's go give it a look. So in honor of Classic Plus stable, we're going to be building a horse stable. That's right. This entire time, this has been a lead up to a pun. We're going to be building a horse stable right here. And now I know what you're thinking. A horse stable next to the city hall? That doesn't make any sense. Well, you're right, it doesn't. But I thought it was funny. So we're going to be building a small little horse stable right here. Now, to think about it, if you're going to a park, sometimes they have horses there. And you can bring your family and your kids and whatnot. And you can get a horse and go take it on a ride on a trail or around the city if you want. So yeah, that's what we're going to be building right here. And now you can also see that there has been some changes over here as well. So this obsidian formation here is actually marking the center of the world. If I hop down here, boop, and I press F3, you can see that my coordinates are x256 and z256. Now this world is a 512 by 512 world, large world size. And the way Classic works is 00 is not in the center of the world. It's actually in the corners, and it's in that corner over there. And what the plan for this is I want to build a proper city center. Now, what I was doing before is I just had this road with the rainbow wood center. This road originally went all the way down this way. That's why that road is hanging out by itself down there. So you probably remember that I had that road here. But what I've decided to do is to remove the road and leave this spawn point just as its own thing. And I want to build a proper city center. And there's going to be roads that come off each of the four sides here. So what this means for the park is that this is kind of cutting into the space that I originally had set out. And that's why there is a road over there now. and this road is by itself. And this road will probably be changed yet again because I've changed this road a few times now. So it just kind of goes to show that not everything you plan out always goes to plan, and that usually means it's a good thing. But I really want to develop this park idea, and I really, really want it to be something really special. So hopefully I can keep committing to this idea, even though this city center might get in the way. But yeah, we'll be doing this in a future episode. Welcome everyone to the Classic Plus Horse Stable. Using a lot of the new blocks in this building, using some of the pillar blocks, the pillar base, the stone brick, and the mossy stone brick. Man, I really love all these textures, but my favorite is probably the stone brick. The person who does these textures, I believe their name is Lanieka. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lanieka does some great texture work, and these stone bricks are a great example of it. If I ever make a texture pack for like vanilla Minecraft, I'm definitely going to be using a texture like this. So yes, this is fine work, fine texture work for some of these blocks. But out here we have a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to talk about everything kind of in chronological order. What I wanted to do here was more of a condensed version of a farm. Now, I think I want to build like a bigger farm out here at some point. I don't know, that's a future idea maybe, but I want to do a condensed little farm in this little plot. So you can see out front here we have these wells, and these are hand pump wells. So you have to come out here, pump the handle a couple of times, and water will come out up from the well, and it will go in your bucket. And it's kind of has this little dirty patch on the floor here using some water. We got some dirt slabs, mud slabs, all that fun stuff. We actually have another well over here as well. Another well over here as well. Funny. So we have two hand pump wells over here, and then right here we have a tractor. Now, out of all the vehicles that I've built in this city thus far, this tractor I think looks the best. It's just the right proportion, exactly what I need, and the tires don't look like crap. So I'm pretty proud of this tractor. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you have the back here, and you come up here and you sit. Here's your steering wheel, and then you have the straight pipe here, the exhaust, using some ropes. But yeah, there's a little tractor right here. Moving on over to the sides over here, you can see more of the building, using yet again more of the pillars, but you can see the cedar wood slabs here too. And the cedar wood slabs are a new block in the newer updates. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, and you probably already have. But we have a little section over here, a little outdoor section for the horses and probably other animals that are in the stable. And just we have a little bit of hay out here, using the yellow coral, right? Yeah, yellow coral out here to represent some hay. And we have some water troughs here as well for the animals to drink out of. Simple little area over here. If we move around over to the other side, you can see more of the cedar wood slab roof here. Interesting texture. I'm not sure if I like it, but you know, it's interesting for sure. Over here is a manure pit. Yes, this is where all the animal poop goes. At first glance, it's not that special, but if we come down here, this might be hard to see on video. Hopefully, it's not too hard. But there's some particles coming up through the ground. Yeah, it's a bit stinky. Maybe it's some flies. But this was actually a pretty fun thing to do. I have some particles coming up through the ground here, and the way I'm doing this is using candles. Now, there's also a lot of candles, but there's also some magma blocks down here too. And the reason why there's magma blocks is because magma blocks also give off particles as well. Like if I get rid of this candle, magma block itself gives off particles, and I wanted to have both the magma block and the candle doing it, but once you put the candle on it, it kind of stops the magma block there. So the magma block isn't really doing much here, but I didn't bother replacing it, obviously. But yeah, there's actually a lot of technical stuff going into this manure pit, all for a poop joke. So yeah, but I kind of like the idea of using the smoke particles as a way to add texture to a build. This is the only application I can think of for it at this present time, but it works really well with the single slabs. When you get into the bigger piles here, it doesn't really show up very well, obviously, because the particles only go so far. But yeah, this is mainly the outside appearance of this build. Oh, we have a little wheelbarrow here too, because you're gonna need to dump. When you collect it in there, you're gonna have to pick it up and dump it in there. But let's talk about the main front of the building here. We have some hay and some bundles over here, or some bales, I should say, and we have some leaf blocks up here, some bushes. Like I always say, you can't forget the bushes. And we have a nice circular window up there, a nice keyhole kind of a shape. But then we get to the main entrance, and this is made out of doors. Now, you might be thinking, this looks rather strange. Well, doors were added in one of the stable releases, and when they were initially added, they were kind of buggy, and you could place doors on top of each other, and what that would do is they would kind of place inside of each other, so it would make this funky looking texture, and the doors would be all broken and weird. And you could also place half doors at that time too, which was also kind of weird. So I took advantage of that, and I made this nice cedar door like gateway. And it looks a little weird, but you know, I took advantage of a bug, and now this is going to stay here and be a little historic, because you can't do this anymore. This was fixed in the most current releases of Classic Plus Stable. But after we look at the dirty floor here, we walk inside, and we have, well, what you expect. Some horse stable stuff here. So we got the stables on the side. We have 5 on each side, and in each of the stables there's some hay blocks represented by the yellow coral and the sponge, and we have a little pool of water for the animals to drink out of. And then in the center we have this trough, which this trough is used to push all the poop into the dung into the pit here, because you'll have like a pitchfork or something, and you'll be picking it up and you'll be throwing it in the pit. Now, if this was real life, this would be a conveyor, and once you fill this pit up, you turn the machine on, and it would funnel out, and it would be dumping into the actual pit out there. I didn't bother actually connecting it or anything, because I didn't really want to. It didn't really make much sense to do so. But yeah, I've actually done this quite a bit before. I used to shovel crap for animals, and it's never fun. But it's really fun to mess around with it in this sense, using the mud slabs and the dirt slabs, and little pieces of hay every now and then. So the design I was going for in here was to be very rustic. As you can see, I'm using a lot of fences, both for the dividing walls in each of the stables, and using them for the lighting fixtures as well, with a bunch of candles, and using some ropes to give the illusion that these are hanging from the ceiling. And I did this to break up the texture on the ceiling, which is something I have to do a lot in this mod. So I'm using the cobwebs, using the logs as some beams, and I'm also using barrels as well. I'm not sure how to feel about the barrels here for a texture, or for the main beam down the center, but I tried to give it a shot, so let me know what you think. But over here we have 2 little workstations at the end of the whole stable building here. Over here we have a little bit more hay storage, and we also have a tool shed. Oop, I pressed the wrong button. We have a tool shed over here as well. So you have some shovels or pitchforks hanging over here. And we have some more barrels and crafters that add some more storage. But you can kind of see that the barrels and the cedar door have a very similar texture. I think Method did that on purpose. I'm not entirely sure, but they're not the same texture, but they're close. Speaking of texture, you can see that the window here, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the window here has some stained glass in it, and I have some white stained glass against the regular glass. This is to give some detail to the windows, to make them look like they're dirty, or they have some smoke on them, or just grime and dust all over them. And I did that to all the windows except for the main window up top. And yeah, I think that's the only window that didn't get this texture. And then I have a dark gray window here, just like a really dirty window right here. I mean, it's above the poo trough here, so but over here we have another workstation. We have an iron block here for an anvil, and we have a pillar base block here, right? Pillar base for a grindstone. So if you need to do some smithing work or whatever over here, sharpen your tools, you have a little workstation. And right here, I'm using another example of the glitchy doors from a few versions back. Except these doors are open, and when it was weird that when you stack them on each other, like the top part, like you can see on the top part of the door here, this top part would disappear. So they kind of would just connect like this. So I put some slabs on the top as I was stacking all these doors together, which this was surprisingly difficult to pull off. But I put slabs up here, so we have some very odd shelving right here, preserving another bug from a few versions ago that I won't ever let Method forget. But actually, if we come up here, actually using the rope for its intended purpose, press space, climb the rope, and we'll head up to the hayloft. Now, the hayloft is very simple up here. Much like in real life, most haylofts are just kind of empty space with a bunch of hay in them. And I have two types of hay. We have sponges, and we have the yellow coral. The sponges I'm using as very fresh hay, or new, like, cut hay. When usually, like in real life, when you're cutting hay, you typically want it to be dry, because wet hay, when you store it, will catch fire. But sometimes, even when you cut hay and it's a fresh pile and everything, it's still somewhat fresh and green. So this is what the sponge is kind of representing, because the sponge has a little bit of a green tint to it. And then you have the yellow coral, which is the more dry hay, and we have separate piles on each side, all organized. And we have some barrels over here, again, for some storage of whatever kind. And I'm using slabs and cobblestone slabs here to represent a conveyor belt. I didn't really build it entirely out here, but sometimes when you have a hayloft up here, there's like a conveyor chute over here where you take the hay and you put it on the conveyor belt, and the hay will go down the conveyor down the side of the barn, and it can be loaded into a pile. So like a truck or whoever whoever is buying hay, come over here and they can load up the truck real quick. But right here I just simply have a balcony, because there isn't really much room to put a whole chute or anything on the side. So we just have a simple little balcony over here with some more hay on the side here. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this entire stable. Like I said, there really isn't a whole lot going on here, but also there is a whole lot going on here. I focused a little bit more on just tiny details rather than scale, compared to like the Sunnyside Hotel and Resort over here. This thing is massive, but it is not as detailed and as nice as this little building over here. But now we can finally talk about the rest of the park over here. Let's get to it. So we do our usual walking down the road, as we always do. And the first thing we're going to come across is a nice little forest area here. So this is the first little section of the park that you'll see. It's right behind the city hall here. And what I've decided to do was put some of these new cedar trees that were added in the recent updates. These cedar trees actually are the trees that you see in the new forest world type. And I put a couple of these trees here with a nice little trail, a little pond, and some seating and benches and some picnic tables. Just a nice little walk-through area here. And actually, in this world, since I've mentioned before that in this world, level physics are disabled, so that means things like trees and stuff don't grow on their own, which means for a while I've had to build my own trees for a while now, other than the custom ones that I obviously have to build, like the palm trees over there. So, so a new feature that was added in these current releases was able to grow trees using the debug stick. I just walk up to a sapling, right click, and boom, I have a tree. And to a lot of you, this might not sound like a big deal, but to me, this is a huge deal. I no longer have to build these trees over and over and over again if I just want to have a few trees everywhere. And with these cedar trees, all I had to do was plant the sapling, and boom, I grew them super fast with the debug stick. So that's a pretty nice feature to have. Here we are yet again with another beautiful parking lot. I absolutely love building parking lots. It's my favorite thing in the world when I have to build the same thing over and over with the concrete, or granite, I'm sorry. I got that wrong. Goes to show how much I love doing it. So we have the granite, and we have the gold here again for the lines, and we have the cars. This is your run-of-the-mill typical parking lot. Except this time we have some nice flashy red arrows here to tell you that you in fact need to drop your boat off in the water at the dock. That's what these arrows are for. Just in case whoever brings their boat in here decides that they need to put the boat anywhere else but the water. I doubt that would ever happen, but you never know. So that's what these arrows are here for. So, but this entire dock and like boardwalk thing here, this is probably my favorite thing I'm going to talk about today, because this ties the entire area in so well. Because before, this lake was just a lake. It was just kind of water cut into the grass. And, you know, we had the Kraken here, but that was about it. And it didn't look that nice. So, but the addition of this boardwalk here and these docks here and the beach, this just makes it look so much nicer, and I'm really, really happy with it. So we're gonna start over here, and this is the just kind of like the water, just the water side of the boardwalk. I don't know what you would say. Water side doesn't sound like it makes any sense, but this is the main part that kind of protrudes into the water. And here we have racks here with some surfboards on it, or paddle boards, if you want to rent them, so people can come up here and grab these and jump out in the water if they so desire. And right here we have a little sightseeing thing. If people want to see out into the lake, you just pop a quarter into the machine, and you use the binoculars using your imagination here, and you look out into the lake and see if you can find anything. But you can see here that the lake is invisible through these lenses, so and you can see that the lake is not very deep. Such a weird classic bug that like the way transparency works. But over here we have our watercraft in the actual docks here, and we have some jet skis here. We have a mud jet ski, a bricks jet ski, and a sandstone jet ski. Just kind of random blocks here. I'm using the new sandstone block and sandstone slabs, pillar blocks, fences, and granite slabs as well. Not what did I call this earlier? Concrete. Yeah, it's not concrete. This is granite. And yeah, so using some of the new blocks here for the jet skis. And right here we have your typical fishing boat, and we have another fishing boat out there as well. But yeah, this is your run-of-the-mill typical fishing boat. Maybe it's a little more high class or a little bit more expensive because of the nice carpeted floor, which I don't know why you would want a carpeted floor in a boat, but whatever. I don't fish very much, so. But you can see here we have these nice lampposts using the new crystals, and these crystals kind of look like really nice ornate lampposts. And these posts also double as hitching posts for the boats, or anchoring spots. I don't think a hitching post is for horses. That's a different thing. But yeah, you get the idea. You can anchor your boats and stuff here. And over here we have some canoes and perhaps kayaks too. So if you want to just drop off your canoe or a kayak and just row your way out into the lake, then you can do that as well. So from here is when you can decide whether you want to go down the boardwalk or go down the beach. We'll walk down the beach here real quick because it's rather self-explanatory. But we have, some sand, and we're using the wet sand here as well to add some detail to the shore here, which looks really nice. I'm super proud of. And we have the occasional cobblestone slab and mossy cobblestone slab, as you can see over there. And using some bushes, or not, this isn't bushes, this is a shrub. Using some shrubs and some cactus here on the beach just to add some texture. And we also have the occasional umbrellas and stuff here as well, and beach towels on the ground that people are laying on to get tanned in the sun. But yeah, this is relatively self-explanatory. This entire beach just has an assortment of all of these things until we get all the way down to here, and there's another entrance onto the boardwalk somewhere. Where is it? Right here. So to get back onto the boardwalk, we just come in here, and you can see on the boardwalk here we have some of these using the blue wood here, and these are porta potties. Now these are not as detailed as the porta potties I built by the casino, but these are just kind of condensed for space reasons, really. But we have some portable toilets here, over there, and over here. And over here we start leading into the commercial area on the boardwalk, because some people are selling stuff as you walk down here, and usually it's crowded with a lot of people, but I seem to be the only one here. That's very weird, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So we go over here, and there could be some guys selling some stuff here, and this is like a t-shirt rack or a clothing line. So there could be a guy here or whoever selling like some touristy type t-shirts or articles of clothing, trinkets, whatever, and usually they're pretty pricey. So if you're walking down the boardwalk and you're not from the area, you can come here and buy yourself a t-shirt and take it home and brag to all your friends. But yeah, we have more of these toilets here, and we lead to more commercial areas. Now this is supposed to be like just a smaller umbrella. They kind of look like balloons, but balloons wasn't my intention, but they look more like balloons in my opinion. These are meant to be just smaller umbrellas. But we have, just more pop-up areas here. This could be like a hot dog cart, so there's a guy cooking hot dogs on the side here, and you can come by and get a hot dog if you want. And now this is a bicycle, at least my best attempt of a bicycle, because sometimes you're on these boardwalks and you're walking and there's people riding their bikes, even though they know full well that people are walking here, but they decide that they need to put their bike here too. I'm just kidding, but yeah, but this is a bicycle, or my best representation of one. But we move a little ways down here, and we have some more, and this is meant to be like a station where a guy would be painting or drawing something, and you could buy his art as you're walking down. And he could also be like a caricature. I don't really know how to pronounce the word, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But I think caricature artists are those people that are you walk up to him and you ask him to do a portrait, and he draws your face, but he makes it look all goofy and weird, and you pay him some money for it. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that word correctly. If not, then you can correct me, because I can't speak very well sometimes. But yeah, but some of you may know what I'm talking about. Those artists that sit there and they draw people's faces, and they really accentuate like their face, and they make them look all goofy. I actually have one of myself, so I mean it's rather old, but I don't know if these type of artists are popular anymore. I haven't seen one in ages, so this could be something. I could be pulling this out of a memory, and no one knows what I'm talking about. But before I get lost in my own thoughts, let's move on with the rest of what's going on here. We have more stands where people are selling their stuff. This could be another hot dog stand, maybe. And then over here, this could be like another like t-shirt stand. Just not as many t-shirts as the guy selling over there. So yeah, this is, pretty much everything to the park at this present time. I know originally I stated that I wanted some housing here. like rich people housing near the lake, but I'm really not sure if that's gonna happen. Who knows? This whole park thing has changed a little bit in my mind since the last episode, especially with the main idea of this coming soon, because this really changed my whole plan. But I think this is gonna be for the better. I hope so. Yeah. Well, I think this is gonna be it for me today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and also want to thank you guys who have subscribed in the past, I'd say a couple months or so. I want to thank you so much. I'm currently, at the time of recording this, at 57 subscribers, which blows my mind that 57 of you think that my stuff is worth subscribing for. Out of everything on YouTube, you think that my stuff is worth subscribing for, which that means a lot to me. I mean, that means just so much. You know, like real life, I work a lot of hours, and I come home and I have a limited time to work on this stuff, but I love doing it. I love making the music. I love releasing the songs. Like the current song that's up is Cue the Madness, song that I made last week, and it's been getting a good amount of views, at least from what I'm used to. And I hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoy that stuff. I enjoy making the music. I enjoy making the Minecraft content here, especially playing this mod. This mod is very unique. It makes me think outside the box. So I really hope you guys are enjoying all this, and I really appreciate all of your feedback and your support. So I'm gonna keep doing this as long as I can, and I hope you guys stay interested, and I hope I stay interesting. So yeah, but anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.